All right, guys, we're just gonna start because I'm running behind because of technical crap, um, and I just don't know what the hell I'm doing. As always, the jungle. If you're new here at Subscriber Sunday, subscriber rules. You, yeah, you're in charge. Um, so yeah, here we are once again. I would like to give a shout out. We're gonna do a little bit of. We're gonna do things a little differently here on Subscriber Sunday from here on out. If you are interested, um, obviously this is all about the subscriber. So if you're interested each week, if we have it available, right? We're not gonna just force it. Clean the lens here. But if we have it, if somebody would like to send in one of so we always hear about these encounters and these stories on different channels, and we don't really know where they come from and are they legit, blah blah blah, right? So we'll just do it in house. So on Subscriber Sunday, if there's any, not licking yourself. So if there's any of you here that would like to have your story told or your encounter told or your sighting told, we could use your name or not. It's up to you. But we're gonna go ahead and go that route and kick off every show on Sunday night with roll call, and then we'll dive right into one of the tribe's encounters. Tonight we have Bob Mason. He is the first to test the waters, and we thank you, Bob. So it doesn't have to be long and drawn out. Bob's was very brief, and that's great. Perfect. I love it that way. And we do have somebody here with us too, and I think you guys are really gonna like him. I want you to, he's one of the team members for, that I work with on one of the teams. You guys, some of you guys might recognize him, some of you guys might not, but pick his brain, because he's got, I mean, endless amounts of insight, and he's such a valuable part of the team. So let's do roll call real quick. Let me run it back. We have Sass Confessions, one of the lucky members. Thank you. Bob Mason, thank you, brother. Another member. Cashew, welcome in. Linda, welcome in. Oh, a member as well. Thank you, Miss Linda. Let's see who else. There's Scott. What's up, buddy? Rob, what's up, buddy? Mike Jones, welcome in. Hey, Trapper, welcome, buddy. Good to see you all. Pat Schaefer, Larry, welcome in, guys. Welcome in. I'm trying to find a good place here. I'm literally on the fly right now, so just bear with me. You'd think you'd be prepared for this kind of thing, but I had a lot of other stuff I was doing. Like a lot of other crap going on. So this is what it is. And I am exhausted, so we're not going to go too long tonight. We're probably going to run an hour, and that's it. So that being said, I'm going to pull up our friend here. Welcome in.
Hey, how's it going?
What's up, Dina? What's up, Will?
How's it going? How's everybody doing?
All right, brother. All right. Good to see you. So I sent out the link to a couple of the people who might pop in, might not pop in, but we'll see. I think it might just be me and you tonight, though. So Camping with Sasquatch, great channel. Good to see you, bro. Unknown Outdoors as well. Unknown Outdoors, you'll like this one. Yeah, you'll like this one. Will Unknown Outdoors is a trapper by trade. He traps animals. So. Scotty, what's up, brother? All right. So if you guys don't mind, I'm gonna just dive. I'm gonna try and dive into this encounter real fast. I just have to figure out where I put it. Gunner, lay down. Can't do this every time, man. What the hell? All right, I don't know where I put it. Shit. Oh, it's not good. All right. Bob, can you go lay down? Bob, can you send it to my messenger real quick or something? Can you like maybe screenshot it wherever it was or something and send it to my messenger? That way I have it real fast. Oh, there's a heart over there. Oh, cool. Oh, Todd Jacks. Cool. So somebody's on the Facebook side. Nice. I don't usually spread. I don't usually share it to multiple sites, but I said, you know what? Let's just see. I said, let's just see how it works, and we'll do it. So that's cool that somebody's over there too. It's nice. How you doing, Will? You all right?
Good, good. How's everything likewise?
Todd, good to see you. That's cool. The little Facebook thing pops up. I'm all right. I'm all right. I'm exhausted, bro. I ran around all day trying to prepare to go camping last night, and then I just so many things happened throughout the day, and then I was trying to beat the rain, and it was so humid. And I'm riding around, and then I went and popped by a friend's house out east, and then so what I did was I popped my tent, and then uh, left again. By the time I got back, it got dark, and I did like a live stream with some guys, and that was cool and all, but the bugs just kept coming at me, and next thing you know, it was just like it was like rough out there, man. It just the humidity would not quit. I had so many fires going, trying to keep the bugs away, and it's one thing to be hot and humid and like you know, but with the fires burning right next to you, it's like I don't know. You get my drift.
Yeah, them bugs can be nasty at times. I have an
Yeah.
old method. I used to carry like a little cork in my pocket, a wine cork. And what I used to do is I used to take a little lighter and light the end of the cork. And as soon as it burned, blow it out cold. And then I would just, it sounds a little silly, but I used to coat my arms with
Wow.
it, my hands, and it kept the mosquitoes away because of sulfur from the cork.
Oh, okay. See, no, this is exactly this is exactly why you're here. Stuff like this, like this is exactly the kind of stuff I want you to like dive into. Um, so that way we all can get a few little tips about it. So, quick background on my end about Will is he's a team member of ours on one of the teams I work with, the New York Bigfoot Society. He does a lot of other things, obviously, but that's where I met him. He is invaluable to our team. Like he is. I mean, I'm comfortable calling you an expert. I know people don't like the word thrown around, but you are. You're an expert hunter, tracker, bushcraft, survivalist, everything, right? I mean, if you want to
Well,
give a little bit of a backstory to yourself, that's fine.
yeah, it's something I've always enjoyed as a youngster back in the days, between hunting, fishing, camping, and everything with my family and friends and stuff. As years went by, I just got more involved with it and more and excelled into that line of field. Um, being an outdoorsman comes with a lot of responsibilities, safety as well as skill sets, and trying to understand wildlife. Basically, most of my time is studying animals and wildlife and stuff like that because it's not about really just about hunting. It's just about learning everything about the animal, each individual animal, different species, uh, you know, changes of the weather between plants and et cetera, just to adapt and put yourself out there. And even like you just discussed, the humidity changes a lot. Mosquitoes could be a problem. There's a lot of ways to get around it at times, but it can be agonizing for those who not doesn't have the field experience of sitting out there all day long like you do.
Well, I mean, it's a little different for me. You know what I mean? It's a little different. Uh, could you just buy a can of Deep Woods off? Yeah, it don't work for me. You know what I mean? Like that Deep Woods and off and all that stuff, that keeps you from sometimes getting bit by bugs. You know what I mean? But when you're talking about, I don't know, I'm from Long Island. Like these bugs come from all over the place. Like I can literally use 5 different sprays, everything, and they just keep coming. They don't stop. And then, you got horse flies, which will harass you for miles. Yesterday, I had these beetles coming towards the light that were like dinosaurs, just kept flopping in there. It was driving me nuts, man. And then the ticks. Obviously, you could deal with everything, right? But the ticks is like, that drives me nuts. Bob, I don't see it, Bob, on Messenger, bro. Um, I'm gonna, if I have to back out of here, I will real quick. If I have to, I will. Where are you from? All right, I'll be right back. If just hold it down one sec. Okay, Mike.
I'll give you out some tips while you're finding out what you got to
I don't
do.
see it.
For most of you guys out in the field, if you want a little couple of tips to avoid a lot of the insect problems, especially during the summer, especially if you're near swampland and areas, one of the best things to use that's the most overlooked is actually Vicks Vapor Rub. You take that and you put that on the rim of your hat. You put Vicks all around the rim of your hat, and you put a little bit on the face. And what that does is the eucalyptus and everything is actually, and the seeded oil that's in it actually is an insect repellent. So I used to use it on the dogs and the field and everything. I used to put on their ears and nose, but believe it or not, that works a lot. Another thing too is it's up to you. I don't know if many people are allergic to certain things. You can go to the pharmacy and buy garlic tablets and just take 2 tablets and before you go out in the field, like a couple of hours earlier. The reason for that is that it goes into your blood. Mosquitoes hate garlic, and then when you go onto your skin, they start to bite you. They get off of you right away because it tasted your blood and bloodstream and the pores of the garlic. They can't stand it. So that's another one of the things you can use. If you're an outdoor and a hunter that likes using camouflage makeup and stuff, don't even bother with the makeup. That makes you perspire a lot. It kind of messy. So just get a wine cork, the corks from a wine bottle, burn the ends, and then when it cools off, take the ash and rub it all on your face. Use that as a camo. Darken up your face and everything. That way, it kind of like covers everything on your face, and it also acts as an insect repeller because of the sulfur. So that's just some of the things to do. Make sure you tape up your boots to your pants on the bottom parts, just for the ticks. Ticks can be a pain in the ass. You can use the Vicks around the bottom of your boots, but as much as it smells, it does help.
Yeah, no, I don't mind. I don't mind the smell of anything as long as it works. Yeah, I just started getting this stuff called Ranger Ready, and it seems like it's been working so far. It's a brand of spray, so we'll see. And then I also got that.
There's a lot of natural ones you can buy that are pretty good.
I just got one of these, and I used it last night, and I think it helped with the mosquitoes. It's called a Thermacell, and it seems like it works pretty well. But you put an insert inside it, and then like a citronella kind of pad there, and you turn it on, and it kind of cooks it a little bit and puts it out in the air. They sell a couple different versions, but it seemed like it works pretty well. But again, I was just getting beat up every which way anyway. So being at the edge of the Pine Barrens and then right in a marsh, like right in a marsh and on the river, it's just it's horrible. And then the rain was coming, so it is what it is. But,
yeah.
Guys, so we have a brief encounter quick, and we're gonna start off every Sunday this way now. So if you want your encounter or your sighting or whatever mentioned each week, if you want it to start off that way, then let me know. Send it in to me, and we will highlight you, and we'll talk about it. And that's how we're going to start every Subscriber Sunday. So this week we have Mr. Bob Mason. Where are you from, by the way? Will. Somebody asked where you were from.
You hear it?
He might. Yeah, I hear you now. All right. Well, Bob, I appreciate you. All right. All right, I think he froze.
No, we can hear you clearly.
Oh,
Yeah, actually,
all right.
where you was from.
Oh, no, they were asking where you're from.
Me, I'm from Sullivan County. I was born and raised in Brooklyn.
Yeah.
And I
So
came
I
up to
thought,
the mountain. And you?
yeah, well, I'm born and raised here, yeah, in Long Island. That's awesome, Paradox. You put that corned beef hash on your grocery list this week. It was good, man. I ate it. I ate it last night and I ate it this morning. Those 2 little cans, they got me by. I didn't. I wanted to go to the store and get real food, but I didn't. I didn't have time. I didn't. So those guys. We're happy. I'm glad we put those on our list. So, shadow people. Some people have here for sure. I'll dive into that in a second. All right, so Bob Mason. Bob Mason's encounter story starts like this. My Sasquatch encounter. Mike, I had an encounter Monday morning. I couldn't sleep, so I got up and laid on the sofa. Well, about 4:45 a.m., I noticed a very large shadow moving by my window. I peeked out the window, only to see the legendary Bigfoot crossing the road by my house. He was about 8 feet tall at least. We did mind speak, and it turned out it was Papa Squatch checking up on me, which I believe is one that he recognizes. I have not been in the woods up here due to the ticks and rabies up here. What a big surprise. I love it. That's really nice, Bob. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that with us, brother.
Thank you, brother.
So that's always nice when you can't get out and for whatever reason, and then you get a nice home visit. So that's cool. Very cool. I know some people are very against home visits and following you home and this and that, but that's we're kind of the opposite around here. So yes, I can hear you now, fan life. Men in Black. I'm sliding again. Spam is good. Yeah, spam is good. It was a surprise. Yeah, I bet. Cool. Well, thank you guys for being supportive of them, and thank you, Bob, for sharing.
Thank you,
I mean,
baby.
you had something similar like that, right? Like you were kind of surprised about something at home, right? That didn't really seem to fit.
Repeat that?
You were kind of surprised by something at your house that wasn't really supposed to be there, right?
Yeah, actually, what happened was I was in New York City and I have a doorbell cameras installed around the house. And I get these little alerts once in a while. You get the neighbor's dog and cat. You get critters and bears and stuff walk by the house, and it records them for their movement. But in the winter this year, the camera was activated actually twice. And when I looked to view, I didn't see anything in the camera, and I'm like, that is odd. And normally, if it's a tree branch or wind or something, you'll get what they call a motion detection. And neither was it that. But then when I looked really close, I could see a shadow across the street. So I said, that looks like a figure standing up there. So I said, nah, I got to show Mike this. So I sent it to Mike. Mike looked at it, and he said it might possibly be it. So I says, that's kind of odd. So I says, you know what? I'm coming when I get home that Friday. Let me go check it out. But when I got home, I went up across the road and took a couple of pictures in broad daylight in the sun and everything just to confirm it. And sure enough, there was no darkness on the trees, no bark, to give you that kind of shadow, And then I waited till the end of the day when it started getting dark out and see if that shadow would appear. Nothing. But the funny thing that was odd is that this happened just, pretty much close to the hunting season. And what happened was during a couple of days earlier, one of the deer in a field that's right by my house went across the road and somebody hit it with a car. It was a small buck. So it actually got hit right in front of my driveway.
Yeah.
So I ran up on the side, fell dead on the side of the road. So my girl called me. She says, "Hey, you ain't gonna believe this, but a small young buck just got hit right in our own driveway up in the car coming down the road." I says, "Well, did anybody take it?" She says, "No." I says, "Well, bring it in the garage. We'll gut it, and butcher it, and let the good meat go to waste."
Yeah.
But she says, nah, she didn't want to. She, and a couple of days before I get home, so she decided to drag it in them same piece of woods where that picture was. And the
Oh,
funny thing is, I went to go check it out. When I got home, it was totally gone. So I look
wow.
around. I'm looking for hair samples. No hair samples. Everything was gone. But what I did discover was indications of the paunch of the internals was still on the ground. The smell, but there was no drag line. This is what was kind of a little bit, mysterious to me, was the fact that there was no drag line. Had coyotes came and grabbed it, they would drag it across the leaves and leave some kind of you know,
Oh,
some
yeah.
kind of formation in the ground of the drag line of wherever they're taking it to, to eat it. And a pack of coyotes will, drag a carcass for quite a ways, but there was no sign of that. I looked for branches on the top of the areas, any broken branches. There was one or two broken branches that were up high, approximately about 5 feet. So something might have took it and just walked away with it, or put it on its shoulder and actually walked away. So I scanned the area. I made, large circles, horseshoes back and forth. I looked up on the ridge. I checked everywhere. No sign, no tracks, no nothing. So it's kind of odd how this deer just simply vanished. She put out a trail cam on the same location. Sure enough, we got a couple of coyotes and fox on the trail cam right where the deer carcass was laying. So fortunately, they came by the smell of whatever was in the paunch that came out, uh, smell around or whatever. But there was, there's nothing there. But they got caught on camera. I would have wished that she kind of put the camera when the deer was just put there first of all. That way we could see what actually happened. But
Right.
that's what happened.
I wonder, yeah, I kind of wonder if like, it may, in my opinion, I'm thinking maybe it kind of came and showed itself to you on the ring cam, almost like as if like confirming, like, hey, like it went to good use. Like we're gonna take it, you know?
Yeah, it was just kind of odd on the size, the shape, and I even measured it approximately. It was like about 8 feet
Yeah, it
tall,
was. Yeah,
and
you
it's
could
pretty
see
huge.
the legs. Like it had a, like you could see it had like a space between the legs. At least I could tell what it was right away. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's why I brought that attention up to you. But like I said, it was a trail. The trail cam didn't pick anything up, but the doorbell camera picked up the shadow.
Right.
So
Yeah.
the thing is, it was very, very huge, and whatever it was there.
Yeah. No, that was cool. That was cool. Anyone else know Sasquatch going up in the trees? Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. They go up them. They go in them. They go. They, everything. The best. Some of the best advice I can give is to when you stop separating the Sasquatch from the forest, it becomes a lot easier to. It's not like searching for deer or anything. It's not. Those are like kind of things that are very, even then they're very good at blending in, right? But they're not necessarily one with the forest. They're a separate item. The way I look at it is like the Sasquatch is just one with everything around it. Mike, let me ask you this. Last night I had a very vivid dream of a Sasquatch waving to me, and it would not leave until I said hello back. It felt so real, crazy dream, never had a Bigfoot dream before. So like for instance, like dreams are like the way that they will come to you when you're not able to reach like a level of consciousness. Like at this point, like for me, I can receive the messages while I'm awake, while I'm da doing my regular stuff, but that's the point I've gotten to, right? But there's a lot of times when the Sasquatch want to reach someone, so they do it through the dream state because that's when we're most relaxed and we're not doing that all that like doubting and all this extra shit. You know what I mean? So they come and insert themselves into that dream, and usually it's in the REM state, I'd imagine, or somewhere in there, or in between the REM state. I mean, I hope that explains it well enough. Cashew, you are a blast on these Craig and David shows. They're great guys. I like them. It's a good time. David Martin, welcome in. Yeah, Stacy, there you go. Connecting deeper, yeah. Why can't I tag people during the message tonight? I'm messing up. Oh, I don't know. Don't worry about it. We know who's who. Things are good. Love learning anything about cryptid and paranormal. Come to these streams to get true experiences and people with real knowledge. Thank you. So it's great to have you. Tim T, welcome in, buddy. All right, so what I want to talk to you a little bit about is like your background. Like, what do you do? Like, you're so valuable to us, and like that's not why we love you. You know what I mean? You're my brother. Gary's my brother. You know what I mean? But we look at things. Me, you, and Gary look at things from all different ways, right? I mean, that's just the reality of things, right? We approach things differently. We all had different takes on it, but we listen to each other about everything, and we you know what I'm saying? Like we work well together because we respect each other as brothers, and we soak in everything that the other one's saying, and by that we grow one way or another. But as far as like you're so valuable to us in a way. Like, I'm always learning from you, and I want everyone to be able to kind of pick your brain a little bit. Like, I wish they heard that live stream that you did on Nest yesterday, where you just kind of just got on and started talking, because like there was a lot, you know, there was a lot in there. So if it's up to you, you know what I mean, right? I just kind of dive into what you do a little bit, like your survival stuff and your.
Well, I enjoy the outdoors. You know, I'm a very diehard hunter and fisherman, and I like the outdoors. But I also have that same respect for nature. I just don't shoot anything. I only harvest what I need for food, and it's going to be an older animal. I could pick a dozen animals and hunt only one particular animal, and whether I get them or not is based on what time I put in the woods. I don't just shoot anything and like that. I have a lot of respect for nature because, you know, that's just part of myself. As an outdoor and survivalist, you know, and training guys up in the mountains and stuff like that, I figured I can bring that to the field. You know, it's even in research. Think about something in research. You know, let's say, for instance, if we all went to camp and we camped out, to me, I would have to separate myself with certain things. I would actually go into what we call a protocol, which means I would set up camp for everybody. I would cook for everybody. I would ensure the safety by setting perimeter alarms around the campsite, so in case bears and coyotes or cougars or mountain lions come, they'll trip the alarm and alert us in the middle of the night. That's just a safety protocol, because when you're out there, you don't know what the hell's out there. Right. Second thing is, when we're out in the field working together, we find any information, data, or whatever we can locate. We share that with each other. That stays with the group leader. You know, whether it's you, Mike, or Gary, or anybody, you know, anything I find and discover stays within our group. And then if you guys decide you guys want to share it, that'll be up to you. My job is to make sure that everybody gets in there safe and comes out safe. I'm going to teach basic hand skills, signals, because we don't want to be walking through the woods yapping like a damn bunch of hyenas in the woods. Number one thing, Bigfoot is, if he's out there, it's stealthy. It's very elusive. It's watching every move that we do. I have many ways of pacing myself with the group. I would say everybody walking down the trails apart, a certain amount of yardage apart, and we would stop, walk real slow, look around, stop, and then I would, signal the rear guy to turn around and check behind us and wait. And while everybody ducks down, the rear guy stays standing up, and then he goes down, and then we wait like 2 or 3 seconds, and then the rear guy pops up, and then the front man pops up before everybody else does. The reason for that, it causes confusion among wildlife. So they're like, wait a minute, you're here and you're not here. What's going on? They pick up their heads to peek and you catch them off guard. Play the game that they play with you. That's one of the methods. And not only that, if should one of us spot something, we can actually signal each other to stop and freeze and pay attention to the surroundings, see if we can locate it while it's on the move. The biggest problem with a lot of research is everybody walks around like freight trains, kicking up leaves, kicking up evidence. Where every time you walk, they're just walking trash. And there's a lot of tracks and evidence on the leaves that you can't see, that I can spot, that you have to pay attention to. So it's like trailing deer. You know, deer will run through the woods and they barely even so much kick up a leaf, and you got to track this animal, especially if he's hit. You don't want to disturb the area of where you're tracking. Everybody's going to walk in a formation together, and then we'll spread in circles and then check. But you know, nice and slow. That's basically what I like to do.
I couldn't agree more. You know, I kind of like tippy toe around through, and I'm always watching. A lot of people are looking down for prints, right? Everyone's looking for a footprint. That's why they're looking down. But I'm looking down to see, make sure I'm not disturbing something. You know what I mean? That's kind of what I'm looking down for. I'm trying not to disturb what could be a possible glyph, or, like you said, something that could possibly lead you somewhere else. You know?
Sometimes just simply walking and you look at the leaves, you might not see weight because the ground might be hard at times, and you might not see an actual imprint. But if you look at the leaves, if he steps on a leaf, the leaf curls upright. Pay attention to the ground when the leaves are curled upright. That's an indication of pressure pressing, what they call. And when you see something like that, that means something has stepped there. And just look at the leaf and look at the distance and check the leaves around each other of that leaf and see if there's a larger area.
And then Sasquatch leave like a breadcrumb trail sometimes, whether it's for each other or for, you know, for myself or what. And it's, you know, it's really, that's why I always try to show people, like, it sits right on top, and it could be a rock amongst thousands of rocks. But when you see it, like, flip it over. And if it's not dirty on the bottom, it has not been, you know, if it has no dirt on the bottom and it has no impression under it, and, you know, it hasn't been stepped on once, it hasn't been there very long, you know what I mean? Little things like that. If that thing is clean and pristine, it just got there, and you have to wonder why it just got there. You know, at least I do. And then I start to just follow that breadcrumb trail of trying to find those, you know, and it seems.
Another thing I want to address too is when we're looking at trails, there is a big distinguish between game trails. When you say game trails, like deer runs, there are different deer runs. A lot of people don't understand. You got to find out, is it a bedding area trail that's going to a bedding area, or is it going to a food source? Never follow a track that's going in one direction. Always go backwards where the track was coming from. And the reason why I'm explaining to you is you find out exactly more about what you're tracking by learning exactly where he came from, where he was bedding down, where he's sleeping. Backtrack.
All right. Well, that's good information. It's good. So now let's say, so you say you want to go backwards. So now I always show it like this, right? Like it almost looks like two knuckles, like down, right? Like that's almost what I think a deer hoof looks like. Is like if you took your knuckles and pressed them in. So like, it's the way. It's not the way it's pointing. You want to go back the other way. Not the way it's walking in that moment. If you come across its trail, you want to backtrack.
Yeah, the reason why you want to backtrack is not because it's the direction that the animal's going at the moment. It's the fact that 90% of wildlife always double back to where they came from, whether it's a bedding area or food source. So they're going to go back. So if you can backtrack, you might be able to find a nest, a den. You might be able to find an area where this animal might have been resting. And where they leave their scent marks and scent trails. There's so much to talk about, and I'm going to try to do as fast as possible. The same thing similar to a deer and a deer run. Deer, and also, when you see rubs in the trees and stuff like that, there are different rubs for different reasons. Some are social status rubs, some are dominancy. Some is like a dog in a hydrant. You take a leak in there, and then everybody else takes a piss on that area, and then all of a sudden, every dog in the neighborhood knows who's Joe Schmo. So think
Mm.
about something as big as a squatch or something possibly as big as most bears. They'll leave certain scent and heavier in certain areas just to let everybody know that they're there and their presence there. You know, you have to study the animals and pay attention to all the little things that are odd that you normally don't see in natural research in researching in with your groups or even wildlife books don't talk about it. Remember one thing: nature teaches you every day. You're not going to learn everything unless you go out there hands on. I put a lot of time studying tracks and different sizes of the track, determine different ages of certain animals, even the same animal like deer, a 3-inch, 4-inch track on the deer, longer depends on the age, a year and a half, 2.5, 3.5. Same thing if you're checking other game, but getting back to the Bigfoot scenario, you know, we don't know much about it, or, how elusive it is because it probably has a larger range than most bears and most wildlife. So, I mean, you have to be really, really cautious and pay attention to the surroundings and everything because as big as they are, they could be right next to you and you would never know it. Same thing. I had walked through the woods and I stopped something. I had a gutty feeling about something. I seen tracks going one way. I doubled back and then I looked behind me. I seen a swamp and I said, okay, let me go back further up forward. And then I seen the track was gone. So I walked out into a single track and then it vanished. So what this
Mm-hmm.
told me was that this animal that was standing there, he stopped because he knew that I was not far from him. But what he did was he jumped approximately almost 25 feet, 20 to 25 feet to the right. And then I found a big cluster of dirt to pound it. And then he went up on a ridge. While I was tracking him, and I stopped at that point, and I said, okay, he's playing games. So he jumped over, and I looked. I said, okay, he's to the right of me. He went up the ridge. I looked up the ridge. When I looked to turn my head further right, I noticed that the buck that I was looking at went up high on the ridge and horseshoed back behind me. And he stood up high and he was watching me standing on that ridge. So he was playing a cat and mouse game. So just think about a Sasquatch or any animal in nature. Their
Mm-hmm.
survival skills are also based on stealth and intelligence and um, doing things that are odd that you wouldn't pick up and that they can get around you and get away from you. It's the same thing
Yeah.
like doing a deer drive. I did a deer drive with three or four guys in the middle of a swamp, and there was 14 guys walking ahead. So everybody says, "Hey, Hunter man, you're gonna walk with all of us." I says, "Now you guys go up ahead." And all 14 guys went across this big, vast area of swampland, and I stood all the way back. And they asked me, "Why the hell would you stay all the way back? The deer are gonna get pushed to the drivers." I said, "No, it's not." I said, "You idiots can't even walk through the briars and the swamps and all the thick stuff that you're going to look for the easy way out. And while you're doing that, the animals drop down and let you walk right past them and get up and run back the other way. And guess what? I was right behind them and I'm the one that tagged. I tagged out a nice buck and everything because he lay down while all those 1400s walked right past him because he knew that these guys were not going to be in the clump of thick stuff, nastier stuff and briars and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Sometimes as an outdoorsman and a researcher, you have to think about the area, study the area, and check, open gateways and the thickets and stuff like that. But don't ever underestimate just because it's thick and you say, nothing went through there. You'd be surprised. There's more shit going through in the thick stuff hiding that
Yeah.
walks right around all that, and you would never know.
Yeah.
So,
I found deer bedding areas in some amazing spots where I'm like, to me, it's disgustingly gross, and I'm not, I don't want to be back there, right? You know what I mean? The track it takes me to get there, but I'm worried about my sneakers and shit like that. You know what I mean? Or I'm worried about messing up my boots and my pants and getting my socks wet. So that's the human mindset, but they don't give a damn. You know what I mean? They don't give
yeah,
a rap.
that's why I kind of wear my big rubber boots up to my knees, and that way I don't have to worry about all that wetness and the nastiness and stuff like that. I just walk right through it.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
that's
Well,
another thing I wanted to ask you, Mike. I've noticed something that everybody seems to do, but I wonder if they're doing it right. And this is just curiosity.
mm-hmm.
The word gifting. A lot of people put stuff out on top of a log and gift, and then it disappears, and they come back, they're refreshing it. Here's the problem that I see with gifting. This is my opinion, not necessarily the opinions of others on this page. But as an outdoorsman and a guy that likes to try to outsmart game, I would, if I put something on a stone, on a rock or something, and it disappears, and I refreshen it. You got to understand something. Any animal could pick up a fruit, vegetable, can of peanut butter,
Yeah,
and walk away with it. Okay, any
yeah,
animal. bears, fish a cat, whatever. No one, I have not yet to see somebody take an apple and take a nail, a big, big nail, and put it in the center of the apple and hammer the nail down. And here's the reason why. Most animals, if it's not a squatch, they're going to try to rip that apple. They're going to pull it from the sides, which is in the case most likely wild animals. They'll rip the apple from all around the side. They're not going to lift it up because it's nailed in. So but if it's a Sasquatch, he will literally grab the apple, and no, he can't pull it left or right. He's going to lift it up. There's your indication that it's truly a Squatch.
So some people will pierce it through a tree. Like, I don't suggest the nail because now you're making it like you're kind of like making it. In my opinion, as far as the gifting process, now the food is ruined with the nail itself. So what I offer people the idea to do is pierce it onto a tree, but now animals can still get to it, right? So what I now offer them to do is we've come up with the idea to go in between at about higher than human can reach. Find your way up there, but use something natural like and thin. Poke holes with whatever, like a skewer through the apples, and then put some thin string through it and hang them up in between the trees so that nothing, the squirrels and the bird, whatever, nothing can really tightrope to get to the apples. So they're kind of hanging in between trees very far apart. So if you're at that point where you really want to know if it was Sasquatch that took it, you really have to get, and I agree with you completely, you have to really get inventive to make sure that it's not just an animal taking it away.
Well, that's why I always felt the nail on top of it will hold it down. You can always remove the nail after you're done with your experiment. But here's the idea. He's going to grab that apple, right? If it's a wild animal, it's going to grab it from the side. He's going to break the apple just to take the apple and eat it. They're hungry. They're not concerned whether it's a nail or not. If a Squatch is there, if he's going to pull it, he has the strength to literally bend the nail, or he's going to just simply lift it straight up with his hands, Once he lifts it up, he's going to lift it up, which shows that he's actually taking the whole entire apple without destroying it. So that'll show you a sign. Here's another thing, too. When you're doing gifting, one of the biggest things I noticed nobody did was around the perimeter of your gifting, approximately 6 feet high, you should be running a thread, a breakable thread over the tree branches from tree to tree. Here's the reason why. If it's a bear, they're going to walk underneath. They're going to clear the thread with no problem. But if it's a big bipedal animal, he's going to walk clumsily, not paying attention. He's going to break the strand. So if this strand is about 6 feet, 7 feet, or 8 feet high, and it breaks, and the gifting is gone, then something big is there. You don't want to put that low because they can detect it. Depending on the scent. Remember one thing: scent control. Your hands, using gloves, latex gloves. When you're handling stuff, animals can smell your scent. Same thing like when trapping. You can put up traps all you want, but if your scent is there, the coyote ain't even going to touch it. No one's going to touch your traps, no matter what bait you got on there. That's why scent control is the most important thing to do. Because once your scent is not established, they don't know exactly what's what. It's going to be opportunistic grab what they have to grab. But if your scent gives them away, they're going to be cautious, callous, and they're going to say, you know what? I ain't taking a chance.
I totally agree with you, bro. So I'm trying to catch up now with everybody. We're way behind. Okay, here we go a little bit. Sorry if I skipped over anything somebody said, but I'm trying to catch up. Unfortunately, the nail brings the image of the poachers in Africa. So I saw something that made me nervous. I had to retreat, caught on camera. Oh, yeah. Sorry to hear that. Oh, Craig the Hunter says, use true rubber boots like Orvis. Great for scent control. Okay. Well, thank you, bro. Put up a cam, especially one you can access by phone. Yes, I agree. The new trail cams that you can access by phone are amazing. I have one, and it's still in the box, and it's been there for 6 months because I don't know how to use it. So, whatever. I'm like at the point where I'm just gonna donate it to somebody who knows how to use technology. But
Here's another thing I want to talk about on them trail cams. Trail cam placement. Being that I'm an outdoorsman, a hunter, you're gonna
Yeah,
set up
please
a
do.
trail cam. You want to make sure that there's no scent, a human scent on that trail cam. You might laugh when I tell you this, but I used to use deer lures, deer urine, and I would take a urine. I used to use a little small paintbrush and soak it into the urine, and I would paint my trail camera with it. Smell, so it smelled like a deer. It didn't smell like a human present. So by you camouflaging the scent on that, and also if a deer is part of their food source, it draws curiosity to actually come near that camera. Sasquatch, if they have any intelligence, in which they do, I believe so, they can distinguish with the human odor and something that's not right in their environment. Remember one thing, they walk through the woods every day. They know every rock, every tree, every branch. So if something's out of the ordinary, they're going to pick it up. It's like you walk and you see a trail cam in a tree. Oh, shit, there it is. But camouflaging it with animal scents that is part of their food source is a great way of getting the attention. You know how many bucks I had walk up to my camera just to smell it? How many bears? How many fisher cats, bobcats, you name it, just because it had the scent of in the urine of other animals, except for fox, coyote, and anything that's predatory. You don't want to use that. That's pretty much like a dog taking a leak on it. It scares them away.
Yeah. See, like, I
What do you think?
totally agree, bro. Like, they know they know you put it there. If you're a hunter or whatever and you're trying to capture something on game cam. Now, if we switch it over for Sasquatch, I always tell people you're not going to capture Sasquatch on game cam because they're watching you put it there. They knew you were coming in to do that before you even, started tying it up. So what I suggest is that is where you say openly, I'm here for you and I'd love you to give me something. Not here to harm you. I'm not here to give away your position, but whatever you want to say to them, and then maybe make that your gifting site and offer them something back. You know what I mean? Offer them something in return for, maybe showing face on that game camera.
Yeah, it's a possibility. What I like to do is sometimes I just find an old dead tree that's already dead, no leaves on it, it's all rotted, dead. And I would go and cut out a square box inside the tree and put my trail cam inside the tree and close it with the other half of the section I cut out and make a small hole so I'm able to, video or capture or whatever, but they can't see the trail cam. It's bedded into the tree. Many times people who put game trails cameras, they tend to get destroyed from wildlife, whether it's bear, fish, or cat, or raccoon. They pick it up, they destroy it. Not because they want to, but sometimes the scent of man. Remember, I told you the story. If you look at Mike's page about my sweatshirt, with the same scenario. Sometimes you're not accepted to that situation, and it's just a warning sign for you to keep away. It's like anything else.
I totally agree, bro. Yes, Craig. They are. I mean, well, not smarter than I realize, but a lot of people just think that they're just an animal or something that could be out tricked, and it's not the case. That's for sure.
Think about something. How many times you go in the woods and you see bear? You rarely see bear. If you do, you see them once in a blue moon.
Yeah,
and you know what? Bear have you find in the woods? Nobody finds a dead bear in the woods. How come?
Will, there was a bear on our front steps with 2 cubs. She tore my trash apart, and she came by a couple times, and another time I only heard her, and by the time I heard her and I realized what it was, she was on her way gone, because she came hauling ass across our front lawn, and I heard and I had no idea what I was listening to, you know what I mean? But I was like, I looked out my window kind of like, what the hell was that? Like, but another time she was on our steps tearing through our trash. She put the cubs on our stoop. They were just sitting there waiting. And what happened was I had like cheap steaks. There was like 4 thin steaks. I was going to make like stir fry. And they were in the freezer forever. And then I said, I got to take these out and use them. So I put them in the fridge for dinner. Never used them. And then they sat there for like a week, bloody, gross, started smelling, turning brown. They had to go in the trash. So I wasn't home. They went out in the trash. that was the night she decided to come and say free meal. So that's all we caught was wind of, they were there for God knows how long, tearing up our shit. And then I just watched the two cubs walk away with steaks in their mouth, but, yeah, you won't know they're coming or they're around unless, you're real experienced or they want you to.
Yeah, you gotta understand, like just like any other species that is elusive, you have to pay attention to so many different scenarios. So even ambush sites, when you're walking on ridges and hills and stuff, you'll see areas that you can actually be ambushed. You have to pay attention to that because those are areas where if something decides to make a move, he's going to do it. So you got to look at your viewpoint of traveling route to where you're walking and what's your, escape route in case there's a pack of coyotes chasing you or anything that can happen. You don't know who's out there. You just got to be very, very careful. Remember, these animals and Sasquatch are stealthy. They're the king of their environment. They know every way in and out of that thing. They can be here today and gone tomorrow. They'll cover more ground faster than you can shake a stick. The question is, when you're going to pursue something, sometimes the best way to pursue it is just simply sit down and be patient and let it come to you. Don't always go stalking the game. Let the game come to you. Learn about the game as far as their sexual sense, as far as their food source, as far as their routine and how they behave when the temperature changes. Everything affects the animal's positioning and movement. Same thing that possibly with a squatch. Sometimes I wonder, when you get somebody dead of the winter and it's 8 below 0 and it's freezing, what do they eat to survive? What plants are available? What stuff? So you got to look at the areas you're at and your research, whether you're a hunter or just a researcher, find out the food source, look at different plants, what's available, and think about, what they're going to eat. Even deer move. If the plant vegetation dies in the area, deer move out of the area. So they might move out maybe a mile, 2 miles down the road, or 5 miles, 10, 15 miles, or even 80 miles. It all depends on the temperature.
Well, I think we had that discussion yesterday, and I told you that was one of my biggest findings about them was that they could go a really long time without having to eat. They more or less eat for taste because they've learned other ways to harness energy other than sustenance. Because if they had to eat, they would have to eat. Sasquatch would have to eat all day long. You know what I mean? Like there wouldn't be any deer for us, really. You know what I mean? So like camping with Sasquatch, welcome in, brother.
Thank you. Can you hear me?
Good to have you.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. What's going on?
Good to have you in, bro.
Yeah, I've been listening, actually. It's been great.
Yeah, well, I figured you might want to join in because, I wanted to kind of tie you in because you're out there camping 24/7. You're an outdoorsman 100%, like die hard, literally. Like there isn't, I'm out there a lot, but you're out there always, always. So,
Yeah.
and that's like, that's valid. And the experiences that you're having are just beyond anything that any of us can fathom, and it's so important. It's so important.
Yeah, not a lot of people to talk to about that stuff.
No, there's not. You're right. And Will, the deal, kind of, right? You go out deep into the woods and, with no idea where you're going, you just head out there and GPS your way in and GPS your way out, right? I mean, off grid. Like,
I tell the truth. I never even had a GPS. I just basically use a compass,
Yeah.
But I know the areas. I look at topo maps and I learn the ridges and where the water sources and the food sources. But, sometimes even just sitting in a local bar, watching everybody drinking and talking about where they're going to hunt. And then I know where to intercept them. So I figured I know where all these guys are running around these farmlands and agriculture areas. And I put myself in a situation behind stores, behind banks, behind little bottleneck areas that would still funnel, and I would harvest plenty of game that way.
Yeah.
Well. Somebody
Rob S wanted to know if you ever had an encounter out there while you were hunting.
Yeah, well, like I told you on the page, when I was a young teenager hunting, I was in Ulster County up in Stone Ridge. I was hopping up in a pipeline, and it's all clear cut where they have the power lines and stuff. And I said, you know what? Let me sit up here because deer come out in them clear cuts and they graze just before dark. So I sat up on one of the ridges up on the top of near a big rock, watching some of the pipe, the pipes going downhill on the towers.
Right.
It started getting dark. It was drizzling. I never forget. It was like drizzling, was slightly foggy out, and then I was looking down, and I swore I was seeing things kind of like awkward. So I look and I see something peeking behind, the towers, and I'm like, what is the hell is that? Looks like a damn bear, a young bear, maybe a baby or something. So I pick up my rifle scope at 30. I have a 30-06, and I put it on 9 power. And I'm looking, and I see a face coming from the side of things. I couldn't see there was a muzzle, and all I see was the eyes and a black face, but I couldn't see the rest of it. It was like pretty much stuck behind the pole. So I put the crosshairs on him, and I got to see the eyes. And the only thing that kind of got me was usually a bear's eyes are more to the side a little bit, But this one was kind of almost even, so I couldn't even tell. I didn't know what it was. But I said to myself, you know what? I got a bear tag. I pulled the trigger, and bear meat. And if it's what I think it is, I'll make the history book. But I said to myself, wait a minute. But what if it is? That would be to me is considered manslaughter. I wouldn't do that. And then if such an elusive creature spends his whole entire life eluding man with millions of dollars of technology trying to find out everything about it, that thing deserves to live. And sometimes even as a hunter, you have to have compassion for wildlife and respect for wildlife. You don't just shoot anything you see. And if you're not sure what you're looking at, don't shoot it. You understand? If you can't respect nature and stuff like that, you shouldn't be out in the woods.
Yeah. Gary, what's up, bro? Gary's in there. So, Gary, this is Gary Hoonall. He is responsible for New York Bigfoot Society. So,
great man.
Yeah, that's family. So, what state, Rob? These are the guys I work with in New York. We're all in New York, all of us. We're all in New York, bro. What were you carrying? That's for you. Yeah, that's for you.
Well, I always carry a backpack with what we call a bug out bag. It just has everything I need for survival while I'm in the field in case, God forbid, you get lost. Other than your firearm, stuff like that. But I always carry, all my equipment in my back. It's not a lot of weight, but believe it or not, I have everything, God forbid, should I need for emergency situations, including first aid kit.
There's an armory up there. There's an armory up there. We won't talk about it, but I have 36 deer run past me and jump blind into a RVR at my local metro park. Wow. That's 36 deer. I mean, that's a lot of deer. That's cool, though. That's cool.
Yeah, I keep planning. Sometimes you sit there all week and months and you don't see a damn thing and people get discouraged. I mean, I'll sit there and sometimes I'll spend days and not see a damn thing, and then all of a sudden, boom, they show up there, right there. So sometimes patience is the most important thing. It's not about what you see. It's not about what you harvest. It's enjoying the serenity of nature. It's you with nature alone and enjoying getting away from all the stress of daily living. That's why we do what we do as outdoorsmen, as researchers, as everything else. And like me and my friend Gary, we discussed many a times, got to keep yourself fit as well. If you're not in good shape and fit, you should not be going deep in the interior. If you can't handle the rucking, it's pretty tough. You got to be physically fit for that and mentally fit.
That is very true. You're right. We were just talking about that a little while ago, and like, it is tough because like a lot of people want to go out and they want to do that hardcore shit, and like, and what I said, people were laughing at me the other day because I was saying I was camping and I was like, yeah, I'm practicing, and I'm practicing and I'm like, retraining, and they were like kind of laughing. Somebody laughed. It was like, oh, practicing camping, and I'm like, yeah, like, it's been a while, and like, when it's been a while, you don't just dive out into the middle of nowhere and because then you say, oh shit, I forgot this and I forgot this and I forgot this and I forgot this. So I'm trying to like retrain myself into that mode so that I can, it'll be a success, and a success is safe, right? In my mind, a success is safe when you're going out, by yourself. A success is safe. Like with him, like he's camping every single night. You know what I mean? Like every day that he makes it, he opens his eyes when the sun comes up. That's a success, because you don't know what's going to happen throughout those night hours.
Yeah.
And I do feel like you're very protective down there, brother. I really do.
Yeah.
But
me too.
that's why I think with researchers should have the buddy system. You'd always go with somebody or you go with your team. But if you're going to be an individual likes to go explore, like Mike, you always go out on your own. You have confidence in your abilities to go out on your own. Same thing with Gary Otenholler. He'll go out and travel the whole Adirondacks up on the top of the mountain, and like he knows it in the back of his hand. But that takes a lot of endurance. It takes a lot of patience, and it takes a lot of careful planning. And if I say to Gary and Gary says to me, and I say to Mike, "Are you guys ready?" Everybody just grab the bag. Everything's already set up, loaded, ready to go. There's no looking around for gear. Your gear should always be already put preset and everything ready to go when you're going to be doing some research. And most important, make sure you got a tape measure, pencil, paper, document stuff, write stuff down.
Yeah.
And make sure you got your camera and a radio in case you got to contact help.
Well, Rob, I mean, yeah, they're like a lot of these guys are up in the Adirondacks, and then Will is over Eastern. We had some Western New York is kind of like we're not really. It's kind of blank right now. In my, we don't really have anybody good over there right now. Just sitting around. I'm so sorry I have to jump off. No, don't be sorry, bro. Thank you for hanging out. Appreciate you, brother. Awesome tonight. I really enjoyed it. Trapper, it was good to have you, bro. Yes, respect nature. Does he use deer stands or saddles when hunting?
Me, I've always, back in the days, I used to use a portable stand. I used to, a tree climber. I would use a climber and just get onto any tree and get up on it. That way I can stay off the ground and watch further distance. Gives me more viewpoint and more safety. But if I had to be on the ground and I want to be in a higher area, in a ridge or something, looking down a valley and stuff, I don't like to be in the lowlands and then not be able to see what's around me or above me, because you don't know what's going to be, coming around you. So you have to pay attention to where you're going to do your researching and put yourself in the area where it has to step out towards you and you'll be able to get it in viewpoint. If you're going to be in the thicket, in the heart of it all, you must be off the ground higher, because you need to see. Otherwise, you can actually be putting yourself in a bad situation, safety-wise. So, think about that.
That was a good evening, guys. Good to see
Good
everyone.
evening. How's it going?
All right.
Hey, Billy.
Hey, man. How's it going, brother Mike?
Hey, what's up, brother? Bigfoot World Cryptids, the Paranormal Central Florida says, I like this guy. Me too.
Thank you.
So he's he actually trains the military on survival. And one of the funniest things I think that you always tell me is right, we always kind of snicker because we work so well together, bro. And we really do. And I don't take it for granted. But I always, everywhere we go, I watch people bickering, and everyone's trying to be top dog and this and that. If somebody's trying to keep something themselves, right? So we work so well. But but even in the military, I find it funny when you say that you'll be training like a Marine and like an Army guy, and all they do is end up bitching about who's better, instead of learning how to work together. They're
that was a crazy experience, having a Marine guy come right out of the Marines and had a guy that was a veteran in the Army sit there and actually argue about firearms, or argue about who's tougher than who, argue about this. I got to the point during the camp, and I was surrounded by 150 guys, and I says, you know what? I'm in charge of this battalion today, so I'm gonna teach them a lesson today. So I grabbed them. I picked a team of 20. So we head out, and put them deep in the woods and stuff. I took half of it before we even stepped out. I took half of their gear off, and then and they were like, "Why would you take some of my gear?" I said, "Because this is survival training. You need to learn stuff." And oh, I know. I've been in the military. Yeah. The funny thing about it was during the course of the week, they dwindled their food source within a matter of less than 4 or 5 days. They ran out of food. And then when they had to put their knowledge to find out, what to eat, they were asking us, "Oh, you have a little something to eat, or can I have, drink or something?" No. You find yourself food source. Everybody had to go out and pick whatever's foliage in the woods and bring it back to camp. That was dinner for the night. Whether you got a squirrel or whether you got any kind of plants, mushrooms or whatever, you brought it back and we ate it. That's how, And then after a while, the stress between these two individuals fighting so much, they come to the point where they just couldn't deal with it. They were military trained. Don't get me wrong. They were great at firearms. They were great at driving a tank. They were great with taking orders. This is the real world. You're in the woods and you have survival mode. This is no military. We don't take orders. We learn to survive. We adapt to our environment and in order to live. One of the things they'd never ever thought about was, I said to them, "You ever did fasting?" He says, "No." I says, "You should learn how to fast. And the reason for that is, see how long can you go for a couple of days without food? Test yourself, write it down on a piece of paper. And the average guy, if you're very skilled in learning how to fast and put enough nutrition in your body and you can go without food believe it or not, you can go without a couple of days, even a week. The problem is, as long as you have some kind of nutrients like a water source and stuff like that, but a lot of us are so, how would we say, we're so spoiled to everything that's going on between technology, between having everything we have and we need. But the reason I brought survival skills to the table with the Bigfoot world is because my responsibility to the research group with Gary and Mike and everybody was not to see who's better than who, was to protect them and show my role in the group as taking care of everybody medical wise. Somebody gets hurt, I'm going to take care of them. If somebody's hungry, I'm going to feed them. I'm going to check them every day to make sure they're hydrated. I want to make sure that their gear is properly fitted. I want to make sure that when they're out there and everybody is coordinated carefully, because even researching has a lot of dangers to it. It's the same thing as you going out in the middle of nowhere. A lot of dangers, so you got to pay attention.
Yeah. But even on a small scale, like I found it's really you're my go-to, right? Like if I find something, I used to think things were possible prints all the time, and I would either be like, in my mind, "Oh, that's a footprint," or maybe it was, and I'd walk away, right? And that's it. That's as far as it would go. But a lot of times, I would find things that I didn't understand. I'd be like, "What was that? What could that even be?" And it was, and or what could have done that? And I would want to just kind of see what your take on it was. So I would send, and you would give me this feedback that I would have never been able to cross my mind, that like what it actually is, or what it could be. And I'm like, shit. And I grew as a person from that. You know what I mean? And that's what being open is. You know what I mean?
I noticed something about you there, Mike. You don't ever get a gun. You stay in
Just think about finding a track.
And
if I find the track, you find the track, everybody documents it, measure it, the whole 9 yards. Then we sit down. The whole group has to sit down around this track and evaluate, distinguish whether it is or it is not a track. Once it's established and confirmed its identity, then we can go and pursue the rest of the work as we go along. But working as a team is not to be argumentative. It's about working together to figure out what could be it. It's the same thing like you watch social media. Everybody debunking each other, yelling at each other. This ain't a squash track. This is that. That's just a blur in the camera. We don't know. I'm a flesh and blood guy. I'll be honest with you. But there is other things that I don't know. And like Gary and Rachel and the rest of the team and you, everybody has different skill sets. So something I don't know, you guys can evaluate it. How many times did I go to you, Mike? How many times did I speak with Gary?
I know. That's what I mean, though. We don't have the same views, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. We learn from each other and we work together. But Billy, what were you going to say? I'm sorry.
No, you're good. I was just going to say that what I got right away that drew my was, you're not all over the place. When you get into a situation and you feel the energy's where it should be or where you like it and feel the most comfortable, you don't start explaining, this or it's that or it could be this. You don't second guess, and you take it for what it is and you evaluate it. And the second thing I was going to say to what William was talking about, it's very important when you're around a group or you're in a teach mode helping a group, everybody has to stay at the same energy peak. And once one person steps out and they want to be argumentative or whatever, want to be that base, it takes away from everybody else.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, you're absolutely right.
Definitely.
I'm not gonna name names, but yeah, we have one guy who constantly was ruining it for everybody, just because he was just so negative. Like he was just, one way or another, it was just negative. And yeah, and it can destroy a whole fucking team because it takes away the focus, the real focus.
Like for instance, when I go out and you're behind with me on the live, if I get off track, it's almost like you snap your fingers with me. As soon as you say something to get me back on track, it's instant. I go right to what I should be doing. And you're one of three that keep me on track. You, Mrs. Linda, and Mr. Carson. Without you three, I'd still be stuck in the woods somewhere going, what was that? Or what did I hear? It's scared to death. You brought me a long piece.
It's yeah, but
You did.
you know what
Thank you. You did. He is. He was the first person that I evaluated and watched for months before I even decided to come forward with anything I thought I knew, which I found out later on to this day that I don't know absolutely squat. So,
yeah, nobody does.
yeah.
Nobody does. Yeah, none of us do.
Good meeting you guys. I just wanted to jump in for a minute and say hello and introduce
Nice
myself.
meeting you, man.
All right.
No,
brother.
you're the man. You're the man.
Yeah,
Thanks,
we do.
brother.
Thank you.
Okay, I'm done. I'm sorry.
All right.
I'm gonna jump right below that guy and go with his fire over there. That's cozy over there.
I'll remove him because I don't know if did he want to be removed or not. No.
That was it.
Me?
No.
Really?
Did he want? Did you?
I can't hear.
Did you want to stay up here or no? Were you gonna leave or are you gonna stay?
No, I'm staying.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
All right.
okay,
My bad.
okay.
I'm sorry. I'm just jumping out of order. I don't know. Kick me in the rear. I'm just getting stupid. I'm happy. You guys are making me feel at home.
No, that's cool. All right, you guys. So, shit. There's some kind of feedback, unless it's just my end.
It could be me. I don't know.
No, it's probably me. Cause I have so many messages coming in that it drives me nuts.
Hey, I found out what's going on with camera on my channel. I had to get rid of the other YouTube. I don't know app. Remember you told me I didn't need two.
No, what do you mean?
I don't know. There's another YouTube. It tells you I don't know how many views you get, stuff like that. I don't know.
Studio.
Yeah, YouTube Studio. I had to get rid of it because it was apparently you can only get so many comments for a period of time, and it was cram packed. I couldn't check them anymore, so it told me to delete it. So I deleted it and everything.
Oh, okay. All right. All right. Good.
You know, this is wonderful that a lot of people getting together and actually talking about working in harmony with a lot of different things, because a lot of other Bigfoot pages, they tend to be more criticizing one another instead of actually networking to get together and with good groups and share dialogue and different information that might help each other. Remember one thing, we learn from each other no matter, where we are.
Yeah. Yeah, I refuse, bro. I refuse. I see that shit all over, and it makes me sick. And like I see places where people are loyal in the chat and the comments and the subscribers, and like the people up there they don't even address them, like they don't even exist. And I'm like, everything I don't like that I see out there, I bring it back and I make it, and I become the change that I want to see. You know what I mean? Because I can't control that shit out there. So what I do is I instead of just hating on it and getting negative and doing a shitty comment and joining the angry crowd, I bring it back here and I make a positive space. And then I try to, and then like guys like these guys, they do it too. They make a positive space where other, and then everyone just has now everyone has a network of places where they can go, and it becomes a beautiful thing. So like, you know,
Would you tell
it's
me
I
fun.
agree.
it doesn't cost nothing to smile and be happy? It
Yeah.
takes a whole lot from you to be mad all the time.
Gary, I would have sent you a link, bro. I didn't know you were lingering. I figured you were like, preparing for ice fishing or some shit. This guy, that's a bad example in the summer, but Gary has more hobbies than anyone I've ever met in my life. Every time I look at him, he's like, "Yeah, I'm just gonna go." I'm like, "Gary, what are you doing?" He's like, "Oh, I'm getting ready to run 50 miles through the mountains, naked backwards." Like what? Like he's just a badass. Like he's just a badass. he's just a badass. Like always
It's
doing
funny.
something.
I wanted to bring this up to you, Mike. We won't mention the site or the person's name, but a lot of the Bigfoot sites, people have to be careful with those asking for money. Constantly asking for begging for money out of people, and they're not offering any kind of research or help to help the community. The
Yeah,
saddest, sickest thing to watch is someone turn around and monger somebody about what is true and what is not, and telling them they don't know what they're talking about. But yet, the individual has never stepped foot in the woods, barely even goes out the door. And if he does, he probably sits in a parking lot of Walmart, and that's his research. I mean, it's sad to say, but that's disgusting.
Yeah.
One thing I have to give credit where credit is due. Guys like Gary and Mike, especially Gary too, because Gary is how I first got into this. I want to thank Gary Hootenholler for everything, because I wouldn't have met Mike, and I wouldn't have met the whole team, Rachel, um, and all the wonderful people on that page.
Amen to
I
that.
tell you, they are a fantastic team that is out there, and they do the homework.
yeah.
Mike is in the woods all the time. Gary's in the woods. Rachel's
And then
out
we
there
have,
finding all kinds of stuff.
and then Kenny too is like the
Kenny, oh yes, let's
historian.
not forget about
And
Kenny. He's freaking awesome.
Kenny's our historian, and he's an author and stuff. But he's like he's brilliant. You know what I mean? And then you got the other people too up there, the younger ones. I forget her name, but she, there's so many of them. Bro.
And even the
I
people here on this page, there's a lot. I was, when you invited me to many of the pages, I watched the people on discussing and talking, and I have to say, I admire a lot of their work. A lot of wonderful people here, and it's
yeah.
great to meet everybody, and just continue doing what you feel is right. Just get out there and just enjoy the great outdoors. That's the main thing. Like Gary said, teamwork is dream work. And he
Yeah.
posted that up here, so I have to bring that up. It's true. It's all something that we all enjoy doing, whether we find it or not. But it brings us together. It brings us a lot of knowledge. We can actually find more information than a research team with scientists that's out there in one area. But you know what? When you got a bunch of people in different vast areas, you learn more about different terrain, different activities, different situations. And we go out there and check if anybody calls. You got other people in other groups that are doing excellent work. But the main thing is we stay focused, and
Yeah, like with Gary, like for instance, like he was a flesh and blood guy, right? And then I'm the opposite. I'm like the paranormal side. So when he comes to me and says like, "Hey, let's do a little experiment where he's data based, right?" And then I'm not. So let's do a little experiment where we all play, every last one of us will play like native flute music, and every last one of us will play native drum music, and then 5 minutes intervals, and then we'll jot down what happened, and we'll see if it makes orbs appear or whatever. And he doesn't think that Bigfoot and orbs are necessarily correlated, but because of me and because of the team and whatever, you know what I mean? And like, so it was like a healthy combination of things brought together by different minds, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And fuck, I mean, like it's just cool. Like it's cool to expand and do different things, you know? Like, and that's just one example. I'm just saying, you know, like we do a bunch of different shit, you know? And then
Yeah,
sometimes he challenges us, hey, go and bring the monarchs are dying in New York. The monarch butterflies. Let's go and plant the flowers that they need to live.
he's
Like,
like
you know what I mean?
yeah,
So yeah,
Gary's
we
like a
do a lot of
biologist.
different shit. Yeah, we do a lot of different shit out here in New York. That's like, you know, it's not always a Bigfoot.
And you
Doing
guys
like
might laugh
chasing
about this,
Bigfoot isn't always the best thing you need to do to get
but
to where you
even
need to go.
even as a team of researchers getting together, you might laugh, but there was a time when Gary put up a post, and then all of us decided to give back to nature what nature has given us, and we all walked out there, and I must have collected about freaking 2 tons of trash, going
Garbage.
through the
Yeah, that
woods
was
and
like two
garbage
years
bags.
ago.
Gary did it. Everybody did it.
Yeah,
Our
that
whole
was like two
entire
years ago.
team focused on that, and
Yeah.
we did that because we're out there enjoying nature. Let's get back to nature. Let's keep the environment clean. And then sometimes we just sit back, basically talk as friends and think about, hey, Sasquatch, is he, basically a wilderness creature, or could he be living in suburban areas? Could he live in old bungalows, abandoned trailer camps, or trailer homes and stuff? You'd never be surprised. I find bears all the time underneath structures and buildings. You never know what could be out there.
Yeah, that's facts.
Scott, as far as Bigfoot Anon, nothing happened to him. He's everywhere and anywhere. He's all over the place. He does. If you mean as far as his Bigfoot channel, he's very involved in a lot of different things. So you got to kind of just hit him up directly and see what he was doing yesterday and the day before that is not what he's doing today, because he's always busy. So yes, and these people do have a great group. Where'd you guys go? Bigfoot World, Cryptids, and Paranormal Central Florida. Yes, Tim T, you know the deal. You guys down in Florida are great. You guys work well together. I love it. A lot of different teams, but those Central Florida people are amazing. It's very special. Tim T in Florida is amazing. Him and his wife are amazing. Amazing. You do a great job. I used to watch channels that seemed to be full of psychopaths. I felt yucky participating. Here it feels right. The group here is loving. Well, thank you, Littlefoot Scrim. We're happy to have you. You know that.
Yeah. Much love, Littlefoot.
Pamela Esper. Hello, Bigfoot World. Hello.
Hello.
Hello. Hello. Oh, Pam is part of Bigfoot World. Okay, cool. Gotcha. Well, welcome in, Pam, and Bigfoot World.
Yes, welcome.
Science is about being open-minded. In order to find discoveries and learn information, you have to put personal preferences aside and just do the work, open-minded and to the point. That's how we learn. 100%. 100%. That's what I love about it. People say like, "Oh no, that's not possible." Blah blah blah. So that's not science based. I'm like, well, what? I'm like, if the end of what I'm doing right here proves something that makes it science based, right? Like everything, science is experiments. So everything that once upon a time wasn't known and was experimented on to get to that point. You know what I mean? And I always say there's thousands of animals out there that if you didn't know what that animal was, if you didn't know, and I described it to you top to bottom, you'd be like, that's nuts. That doesn't exist. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Well, like I said, sometimes when you think you got it figured out, nature proves you wrong. So you got to go back to the drawing board and go back and recap and reevaluate and backtrack on everything you do just to make sure, confirm certain things. All species of wildlife and animals change their routine every year. They have to adapt it to survive. The ecosystem changes. Some winters are moving more towards the summer, and some summers are moving more towards the winter. Weather changes affect a lot of the animals' movements and patterns and stuff like that. So, being an outdoorsman or being a researcher, you have to understand the basics of all these animals, because the animals are the food source of every other thing. If the Bigfoot is out there, he has to eat. He has to survive. Anything with that large amount of size has to have a certain amount of calories. He has to establish in order to eat. Is he a scavenger? Who knows? Maybe half of the roadkills on the highways, on the thruway, New York State thruway, or any of the turnpikes out there simply vanish because they got opportunists. They could be scavengers. They can go to trash cans just like a bear. They can go to your chicken coop and raid your chickens just to survive and eat. They might not attack people, but then there are stories of attacks up in the mountains that people claim, or in history, we don't know if it's true or not. But as an animal to survive, sometimes from eating natural stuff, they have to be opportunists to eat other stuff that normally that they wouldn't eat because the food source is scarce. So what time of the year is this happening? And as for all of us networking and people talking together, like Gary said, I'm in Sullivan County, this guy's in Long Island, there's other guys in different counties. If we get a call from a local, somebody confirming something, it's our responsibility to go out there and meet with that person and check out these calls. And not only that, you get to meet people, make friends, establish communication, and guess what? You're allowed to search for properties that might have not been looked at.
There's a house, not a house, there's a farm I've been doing in the Catskills, and I'm not even near there, but they, I was going to refer it off to one of you guys because you guys are closer, but they won't deal with, I just happened to be there, and they were like, happened to just feel like it was fate, you know what I mean? So they're letting me do this, but they, yeah, man, like, that's the kind of shit we do, right? We're like the BFRO that, like, really does it, it doesn't just show up to be like, oh, look at this, let's report it. Like, we actually, and I don't know, like, there's not much you can necessarily do for them, but comfort them, right? Give them a little bit of comfort, kind of check things out, make sure things are safe, like, give them a number to call you at in case they want to talk to somebody. Like, there's like things you could do, but by showing up in person, when that person like gets scared and has that sighting on their property, and their kids are playing in the yard, and a giant walks by, and you know what I mean, and the dog's barking, and you see your dog this big next to a giant walking through the forest, and they don't know what it was, like, it's nice to be that person they could call, and you could kind of be there for them.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree.
Exactly. Fear is one of the biggest thing everybody has. They have fear, but if you learn to control your fear, animals in nature cannot detect that you're scared or not, so they won't take a chance. You show signs of fear, they can detect the same way a dog can approach you and see that you're scared of him and take advantage of you or attack you because he knows you're afraid of him. You have to be mentally conditioned yourself for being out in the field. Mental conditioning is the most important thing, and prepare yourself. Like in one of Mike's videos and other people's videos, I've seen people get a little bit nervous because they see something. It's probably shocking, but you know what? I'm in the woods by myself in the middle of nowhere. There's nobody around me, and I got a 500-pound black bear walking about 10 feet around me, and I'm sitting on the ground, and he's trying to sniff me out, but he couldn't pick up my scent because I covered my scent. But that's that adrenaline rush of knowing these animals are all around you, and whether it's in daylight or in the dark. You have to be prepared for that. There's an old saying, anybody can be something, but until you go out there and go hands-on, it's a whole different world when you're faced with that situation. Are you going to keep your composure? Are you going to take, be ready to take that camera shot, or maybe to get up and write stuff down or whatever, like mountain lions. I called the DEC one year. I was in Caston Road in Route 52. And my friend's property, and a mountain lion walked across the field. I was going to shoot him, and I was like, oh, man, look at the size of this cat. So I called the DC right from the tree stand. I said, listen, we got a mountain lion on Caston Road, and this kid's up the road. I'm going to shoot this cat. He goes, this cat does not exist in New York State. So I says, all right, so I'm going to shoot him right now, and then I'll bring him to you and prove to you. He goes, you better not. It's a $10,000 fine. I said, how could it be a fucking $10,000 fine if they don't exist? And the funny thing about it, I let it go. But then a few years later, I sent Gary Hootenholler the post. DEC finally acknowledged that there is mountain lions in New York State. But why did they keep this thing covered? Same thing if if there's squatches out there, maybe some park rangers and maybe some researchers or maybe some government officials won't tell you because they don't want to panic the public. There's a lot of things that's
Mhm.
going on that we don't know about. So we just have to, you know, whether we take it as a grain of salt or not, we have to just be alert. Bottom line.
Mhm.
Yep. I agree with that 100%. Yep. Well, and the other thing is too. I mean, it's just my opinion on Sabe. I think that the government, and I'm gonna stay light on this comment, but I think the government they know uh, pretty much their abilities. I feel, and they don't want the public, getting in on that and realizing that they're very important, and they're so feared that we'll get 10 steps ahead of them, or we'll figure out things that we're not supposed to know. I mean, it's obvious, but that's just my opinion on it. It's like the UFO situation. They know everything, but yet they don't want us. It's like the things that they put out, like military. Your nods. They're 20 years advanced of what they give us and what they sell to the public. And they have stuff that'll blow your mind that they can see with at night. And they wouldn't dare give it to us now. They'd wait, like I said, 10, 15, 20 years before they put something out that's been outdated for 25 plus years. But they call it new or more advanced. And it's no more advanced than the last thing they put out, because it's so far back. But what are you going to do? Like you said, you just got to kind of go with the roll and be vigilant and aware. But
Camping with Sasquatch, you got anything before we wrap up at all, bro? I mean, you've been super quiet.
To add,
Yeah, at all in
yeah, just
general,
listening. It's been great listening to you guys.
All right. Well, I do want to have you back
Yeah,
another
man.
day too.
Yeah.
Yeah,
When
come on back.
when you have some daylight, because I want you to kind of give us like maybe I'm sure everyone will
Can't
enjoy
see.
it, but maybe like help give us a rundown of like your supplies and maybe like how you get by every day. Living in the field and
Yeah.
just some
Yeah.
tips
It
of
was
the.
just, I was kind of forced into it, no choice, but I had to just figure it out, so.
I know that part, but still, you
No,
made the
it's
best
good
out of
though.
it.
I've had to
Yeah.
learn a lot, but yeah,
Yeah.
it's good now. I love it.
I know you're my fucking hero, man. I'm not gonna lie, you're the man. Yeah, an absolute legend.
I recommend it.
I know. I mean, I did it last night, and every time I go out, everyone's like, "Did you see the weather? It's gonna pour." I'm like, I don't. I'm like, it's not about what's gonna. It's not about what the weather is gonna do. It's about I want to be in nature tonight. Like, you know what I mean? That's what it's
Yeah.
about. Like, I don't want to
Yeah.
be under a roof tonight. I want to be under the stars tonight, or under the clouds, or under the freaking beating down rain. Whatever. That's where I want to be.
Yeah. I lived in the city for over 10 years, and that nature just I hiked a few times, but it sounded pretty boring to me. But it's the opposite.
Yeah, that's a good point, Gary.
Nature's pretty
No,
cool.
I hear you, bro. No, I hear you. But you're amazing. Like, I mean, but yeah, you know what I mean, right? I want to see if like maybe when the daytime goes by, you could kind of like give us a tip of how you get by and tips of how
Yeah.
you get by and what you do and tricks of the trade because you're out there camping what months and months and months and months, right?
Yeah, it's full time. It's yeah, this is
Yeah,
where I live in the
yeah,
forest.
yeah. It's fucking
I think
amazing,
that's
man.
awesome. Yep.
It is awesome, and it's not it's not an easy thing. It's not an easy thing to do, you know. But I love watching like when you make like a some kind of advancement for the better, like that, like even like you made a little video like ASMR and like You were just
Yeah.
chopping vegetables and like making your dinner, but like you chose to take a positive spin on it and like do something different, just like, and just to entertain yourself and then entertain others in turn. Like that kind of shit right there is like,
Yeah.
that's a beautiful mind. That's a beautiful, healthy mind right there. And I like it.
Yeah, I figure I'll put it out there that I've been trying to eat better and figuring out
Yeah.
how to I prepare all my own food, and I recently got a 2-burner stove, and that's a huge difference and stuff
Oh
like
Hmm.
yeah.
that. Huge.
Yeah.
I just did a
Yeah.
video. You saw that.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a big game changer. You gotta
And then
hit
how
two
to
things at once.
yeah, and just figuring out how to eat good, like on out when you're out in it, how to do that.
Yeah.
So,
Absolutely. What survives out there for a long time? What can you use without refrigerator? But that's what I mean. I want to kind of pick your brain on all that kind of shit soon. So yeah,
definitely.
we'll do it another day soon because I'm ready. I wanted to get you in here a little bit tonight, but I'm ready to crash. So, but I
All good.
appreciate you guys being here.
How many Red
Yes.
Bulls you had tonight?
Um, I don't know. Not enough, probably.
I, I'm just messing with you.
No, usually, yeah, no, probably about 2 or 3 tonight. Yeah.
Whew. I'd have to chase my heart down.
I moved over
Well,
to dessert. My boba tea. It's boba tea. It's called like boba milk tea. I don't know.
Wow,
It's
I'm gonna try that
delicious though.
out.
Yeah.
Oh,
So it's strong. Well, ask me first before you order it because there's a million different ways.
okay.
Um, CWS, thank you for the feedback and on those photos today. Oh, CSW. Wait, which one is that? Yeah, that's Bill.
I'm trying. I don't know.
Camping with Sasquatch. I
Yeah,
think. I
somebody
think. She,
someone said
I'm thinking.
you're something like you're an idiot if you think they can cloak. And I said the cloaking thing is kind of old news now. The only question now is how they do it.
All right.
It's just kind of something that most people that have looked into this for a while, they at least talk about it. It just comes up all the time now.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. I totally agree. Oh, that's cool.
Hey, listen, guys. I'm gonna get off here. It's good meeting everybody. Good seeing everybody in chat. I love you guys. Blessings. My wife's going down for bed. She's got to start summer school route tomorrow on the school
have a good
bus.
one, brother.
All
Guys,
right.
take care,
All
and
right. Tell her
I'll
this.
see you guys on the next
All
Hey,
right.
Billy,
Tell her.
one. All right,
Tell her we
all right.
said hi.
I will definitely
big
will.
block,
Take care, guys.
Take
Right.
care, brothers.
big block for
All
life.
right, man. All right. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mike, for having me on. And I want to thank you guys all for being on the show and enjoying the show. A big shout out to Gary Hootenholler, Rachel,
Mhm.
and Diane, and all the great teams. And
Yeah.
thank you, Mike. Most of all, thank you for having me on. It was an honor to be here.
No,
Enjoy
thank you,
yourselves,
bro.
guys. Happy squatching and be safe. God bless you all.
Thanks, bro. Appreciate you being here.
Yeah, thanks for the info. That was awesome.
Thank you. Good night.
All right. I
Yo,
pulled
yo.
him down. All right. I'll pull you down. You ready to go down?
Ready to go. Here we go.
All right, bro.
Should I hold my
All right.
breath?
Thank you. Yeah. Yeah. 3, 2, 1. All right. So thank you guys for being here. Oh man, leaving that milk joke alone, please do. Yeah, I'm too tired for it. Mike and all, and my VA appointment comes early. Okay, go. Yeah, have a good one, bro. Good luck. I watched a 14-footer disappear into a tree. There you go. See what I mean? You know what it is. Go, Billy. Oh, bye, Billy. Go. Good night, Billy. Bye, Billy. I'm reading too much shit together. Night, Bob. Good seeing you. Gary, great seeing you, bro. Thank you for stopping by. I would have had you come up. So I wanted to have Will up. Obviously, he's like, he has a brain that's worth picking. He has a lot of experience, a lot of lot of knowledge. So if you guys have any further questions, maybe anything, you can always go over to Nest, Northeast Sasquatch Team. It's the Facebook page that we have. He's in there. He did a live stream today. He just hopped on and decided to talk a little bit, which is what sparked my idea to have him back because it's been a while. So you can always go and pick his brain, pick anybody's brain, drop what you want in there, whatever. Mr. Mills, it's been great to see you, man. Good night. Thank you, guys. Thank you all so much for being here. It was amazing. I'm going to hang out quietly. Thanks for being here, bro. I'm going to go too, so don't worry about it. Great job as always, Mike and Will. Great to see you. You too, bro. Cameraman, hello. Wait, I gotta do my hello. hello. Keep doing you. Thank you, guys. So again, for all you new people who haven't seen anything yet for the past couple, 24 hours, if you're going to donate $5 or anything like that to the channel, please consider looking at the membership. I believe it's $4.99 or whatever. So you get perks and different things, and you're going to get exclusive stuff. So you'll see. If you join it, you'll see. Mark. See, Mark has a little badge and a green name. Fancy. Thanks for being here. Have a good night. Peace. You too, Scotty, bro. Cashew Kazoon tight. Camping with Sasquatch, thank you so much for joining us, bro. You're a legend. I can't even emphasize it, man. Will's the man, smart man. I mean, yeah, he's goated, man. Seriously. I mean, you're a badass for all different reasons, too, though. Janelle, cooking with Sasquatch. Nice. Well played. Sorry I'm late. Nah, you're good, bro. Didn't miss anything. We were just all here talking about the most important stuff in the Sasquatch world. You just missed it, that's all. No big deal. Raymond! It's okay, buddy. Oh my god. Camera, can you see my comment? Yeah, you guys should be linked up again. Ding ding. Where are the links? Need some people to join. Jesus. You weren't here to put them in. All right, guys. That's it. The show's over. You ain't got to go home, but you got to get the out of here. Whoop. Thank you all so much. Danny, thank you for the links. Tim T's dropping links. You guys are amazing. Really. Miss Linda was dropping links. You guys did amazing today, Janelle. Whatever. You guys know the deal. I can't do this without you guys. I'm a scatterbrain as it is. I take little cat naps as the show goes on, and I don't even realize it. So, thank you all for carrying the entire show, because I'm here, but I'm not, I'm a space cadet, so blessings. Stay safe. Stacy. All right, guys. That's it. I'm really leaving this time.